Overtime on 1620 The Zone.
Shock the system.
Welcome to the After Hours Lounge on 1620 The Zone, the 1620 The Zone app, and 1620thezone.com. When 6A to 6P isn't enough, the boys have you covered. Here's Jimmy Allen.
What that means, it's Jimmy Allen, Dan Campbell, and Cody live from the 1620 The Zone studios on a Taste Test Tuesday from Railcar. Good friends out of 144th and Blondo provided us with the best flatbread pizza I've ever had in my life, a delicious pork chop and an amazing salad tonight. If you're looking for dinner and drinks tonight, there is no better place than Railcar on 144th in Blondo tonight. Chef Jared hooked us up with a braised beef flatbread with some delicious sweet Thai chili to go over the top of it, a Harvest airline chicken, and as well as the rail hacked salad, which, so if you're looking to eat healthy, all these very healthy options, all these very delicious options, always at Railcar. Stop over at our Twitter page, After Hour 1620, retweet the Taste Test Tuesday post, and we will let you into a drawing to win a $25 gift card to Railcar tonight. We got a great show lined up for you. Why do donors not want to donate for players? We'll debate Troy Dannon's comments about the stadium project, as well as where funds are coming and going from for the University of Nebraska to open up the show. Brendan Sorsby, he likes himself the gamble. We'll talk about that situation in Texas Tech. I've got a theory on what's going to happen with their quarterback position by the time the fall rolls around. Who are the winners and losers of the NFL draft? Dan Campenden thought he had himself a running back from Nebraska and then slipped right through his fingers and ended up in Kansas City. We'll talk about that. It is an open bar Tuesday night where we open up the show to you at 7:15. We'll get to your thoughts. Some really good questions coming in tonight. I appreciate everybody participating on Tuesday nights in the open bar. And Diego Pavi has officially found himself a home. But is he Shedeur Sanders 2.0? We'll debate at 7:30. 402-951-1620 is how you can get a hold of the show.
Didn't know you were going to take it that way.
Yeah, it's going to be an interesting conversation. So will the whole show. Please join in on the night shift punch in for the night shift at After Hours 1620, or punch in on YouTube where Quentin leaves a comment mentioning that the 49ers lost the draft. Don't worry, I've got thoughts on that as well. Trust me, my team shows up in that segment as well. But Troy Dannon spoke on Friday, and we didn't really get a chance to touch on this, so I wanted to get some of the key points about the talking points about what he said, and talk about the stadium project as a whole. And Troy Dannon as a whole. We kind of talked last week, Dan, I think it was Wednesday night, about the Troy Dannon effect and what it looks like across all the other sports on that campus. And listen, make no bones about it, the football program drives the narrative around that university. It always will. But I think it's pretty obvious to say that the rest of the programs in Lincoln are doing pretty well outside of Nebraska's football program at this time. But there are a lot of people that are up in arms right now about, quote, their seats, or how does this stadium project affect me and my family in South Stadium? And I think that's a really valid point. And I think we can only live our lives. Like, we're all the main characters in our lives, correct? And if you're sitting there and saying, you know, I've donated, me and my parents and my grandparents have donated X amount of money, we've always sat in these seats, and you know, it's a travesty that we're going to have to sit out for 2 years while we wait for this project to be completed. I'll listen to you, and to some degree, I agree, because I think there's a very unique situation in Lincoln, Nebraska, where if you hire the golden son child to come back and save your program, and he starts off 0-6, and at the 7th game you still have 83,000 seats filled in the stadium. I don't think that happens anywhere else in the country. And I wonder how much of it has to do with the way Nebraska has chosen to handle their season tickets. Nebraska is one of 5 schools in the entire country that does not reseat on a regular basis. The reason that you and your family has been able to have those tickets for as long as you have is because the university chooses to conduct business that way. And I loved how Troy Dannon approached this subject. I mean, obviously, they've probably done a couple of study groups and focus groups on the subject, where he mentioned, like, this isn't about you. And I think for the generation now, and he said it in a positive way, and I don't want to put words in his mouth.
I know.
He said it, this is an investment for the future. And for anybody that's inherited those tickets from their parents, from their in-laws, from their grandparents, what have you, or if you're a second or third generation ticket holder, you absolutely matter. But for the experience to be better for your children and your grandchildren and your grandchildren's children, this renovation is necessary. And there's no way that you're going to be able to do this. And he mentioned the fact this is a 100-year-old stadium, and no shade to Kiewit. They do great work. I don't doubt there's going to be a chance that they're going to have a shot at finishing this project on time. But they're digging up 100-year-old dirt. And for anyone that's ever worked in construction or worked on a project where you're going in not knowing apples to apples what exactly you're looking at underneath there, there's going to be a lot of setbacks. I'm sure that the folks down at Kiewit have planned for that, but you just never know what the actual results are going to be in that situation. And I am very skeptical, I should say. I am a skeptic, or I am skeptical of the fact that they're going to be able to hit their target date. I really believe that there's going to be issues underneath South Stadium because there was issues above South Stadium. So it's kind of easy to believe that there's going to be problems. But the one thing that I love about the end goal is the end goal doesn't seem to be about the we either. It's about the fan bases, the fan base and the future fan base. It's not about the university or the ticket sales. And I say that because it's not about getting more private donations for those seats. They're keeping the same amount of non-donation money seats in the building that there were previous to it. So this seems like, and very few things are these days, for if not for profit, but for benefit and for stadium ambiance, which I think is the right way to do this. But it's in a day and age where everything is about filtering more money into the university and more money into donations to acquire players or acquire coaches or pay off coaches or whatever. I thought it was really ballsy of Troy Dannen to make this statement about donors not wanting to pay NIL money, because we've been hearing this since the dawn of the NIL era. There's eventually going to be a bubble. There's eventually going to be a limit. It's eventually going to plateau. And I find that really hard to believe because we've only seen the money go up and up and up and up and up. Nobody likes writing a big check that you don't get in an automatic return of investment on. And somebody that sells advertising for this radio show, I can tell you right now, nobody likes running a big check unless you could say this is going to 4x or 6x or 10x your investment.
Yeah. Well, and I think Dannen makes a good point, because when you're just donating to an NIL fund, there's no way of knowing, is this going to Anthony Calandria? Is this going to Dane Key? Is this going to the women's bowling team?
Sure.
Is this going to Harper Murray? Is this going to Jacques Valjac, who's on the fencing team? Like, you don't know where that donation is specifically going. Where if you say, I'm donating specifically to the South Stadium project, you will see blocks going up, you will see seats going in, and you will see fancy new scoreboard doing new scoreboard things. And you will say, that was my money. That is a physical representation of my money.
I donated that blade of grass down there. No, I agree with that sentiment, and it's easier to reap the benefits for something you're going to benefit from, right? I mean, if you're right, you mentioned Dane Key, and I think he's a good example. Yeah, you may feel like you need to go get a big-time wide receiver this season, but that investment is a one-year investment.
Yeah.
This $600 million going into, and I know nobody wants to hear this because you want to win now and you want to see it work for Rule, or you're sick of losing, or whatever. I'll hear your argument. But this feels like a better usage of funds, and I think Troy Dannen took that approach, and he talked about the way things are done now. And there are other universities that are paying a higher fee than, quote, what is allowed, and not paying attention to the clearinghouse. And obviously Nebraska's supposed to, there's supposed to be a hearing about the Nebraska settlement lawsuit right now, today. We should be hearing back on that in the next couple of days. But I think it's really intriguing that Nebraska is trying or willing to play by the rules while other schools are not. And I'm sure there's a lot of people out there that are questioning why, or why wouldn't you do what Texas or Ohio State or Georgia is doing because they're winning, and why would you not follow that recipe? Why is this money not being spent? And I'm fairly positive the majority of those people that are making those comments or that are asking those questions probably aren't the ones writing those checks. I think it's important to remember that guys like Troy Dannen, presidents of universities, are on these committees or in these rooms where closed door conversations are coming. And I would love to hear the reaction of Nebraska fans. Would you be willing to mortgage the farm right now? Would you be willing to break the rules now and then at a later date pay the price for a championship now? Or if following the rules now is going to end up leading to you not having to pay the price down the road, which road would you take? Because I have to imagine that the powers that be in Lincoln, it could be twofold. This is obviously a very conservative state. It may be, hey, we don't want to spend with the Joneses and keep up with them and try to win the arms race because we don't feel like with our smaller alumni base, we can do that and win at the end. I'll hear that. But I also wonder how much of it is, hey, listen, those teams are worried about the now, and they're going to worry about what happens later at that time. And I can't imagine any other reason to try to toe the line and follow the guidelines that are put in front of you unless you feel that's the absolute case, right? I will caution everybody out there that is saying we have the funds we need to scale back a little bit, see how the chips fall, because the other thing that came out about yesterday, which is not the best indictment, or not yesterday, on Friday, is not the best indictment of who the head coach is, because Matt Rule has been very, 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 very adamant that to win or be set up for success, natural grass is the best way to go. And Troy Dannon was very vocal that they are not going to be providing natural grass for the head coach.
Don't like that.
I agree, but I also think there is some limit to the things you ask for and the production you've been given. And that could have nothing to do with it, but I think it should.
And I mean, it's a fair assumption to make,
because there's been a lot of money invested, some from the donors in which we're talking about. There's another $600 million investing coming into the stadium for whoever the next head football coach is, because it's not going to be Matt Rule forever. And
maybe it is
forever. It's a long time. That meteor's coming. Is that what you're saying, Dan? I just think that you hate to make it about one guy, but when the head coach stands up at a podium and says, you want a big-time quarterback, it's going to cost you $1 million, and then coincidentally in the next season you have a big-time quarterback throwing the football for you, those things probably correlated. That money probably came from somewhere. And now that guy's somewhere else, so we'll get to him in a minute. But there's got to be a give and take, because, yes, do you want to set your coaches up for the most success you possibly can? Absolutely. Who doesn't want to do that? Because in theory, that should lead you to the most success. Now, if you're like looking at the checkbook and looking at the investments and putting the $600 million around said grass, that may become a different story. But it will be really interesting to see because listen, this is something that could change tomorrow. Like it's not like they can't eventually change out that turf.
Yeah.
Well, but if Matt Rule goes 8-4, 9-3, 10-2, somewhere in that range this season, don't be surprised if the conversation about, hey, we're going to revisit the grass conversation comes up in the offseason.
Well, if you're doing a $600 million stadium renovation, you don't think that at some point they couldn't just say, what if we made this $601 million?
Sure.
$1 million
The money's
grass
not real.
field. And I can promise you, resodding an entire football field probably doesn't cost $1 million.
No. It's probably
a bit more complicated.
It's six figures, but yeah.
Oh, well, yeah, you gotta, depending upon how you're doing it. I don't know, how many people have thought about playing football into what basically amounts to late November.
Yeah.
In the middle of America. It snowed last year during the Nebraska-Iowa game, so
typically does.
In general, it seems like around that Thanksgiving time is a time when things will freeze. So it's good to be careful and be cautious and to have a system underneath the field that can maybe not let it freeze completely, because that's how you get broken arms and broken hands and whatnot. Famously, when they didn't have the piping system underneath Lambeau Field, Ray Nitschke broke all 5 of his fingers on his right hand.
Tundra. You know what? I want to touch on the Tennessee game and some of the other stuff from Dana that we didn't get to. If you missed this segment, check it out on our radio replay page on 1620thezone.com. It was brought to you tonight by Jerry Ryan Clothing and Sportswear. It's a little gray outside, but it's going to be sunshine and rainbows tomorrow. And if you want to get out on the links and be the best dressed guy in the tee box, there's no better place to stop than Jerry Ryan Clothing and Sportswear, the premier brands in golf polos, whether it be Mizzen Main, Johnny O, love my Johnny O polo. Our friends at Peter Millar, Jack Victor, Roan, or the 34 Heritage brand. There's a large depth chart for your closet at Jerry Ryan Clothing and Sportswear. They've been dressing Omaha for over 50 years. That doesn't happen by accident. Get to 78th and Dodge. Tell John, Dan, and the crew that After Hours sent you. We'll be right back. Why was it the right time to cancel the Tennessee game? And do we agree with Troy Danon? 1620 zone. Hey everybody, it's Jimmy Allen here for our friends at Aloe Fiber. I made the switch 2 years ago. I got out of the Stone Age. You know what I haven't seen in 2 years? A little blue circle on my TV. It doesn't matter if my kids are on their iPad. It doesn't matter if my wife is watching really bad reality TV. My game does not pause for a second. If you want to go through another football season with wondering what's going to happen on 3rd and down, if you have a buffering situation, you need to switch to Aloe Fiber tonight. I have an all-fiber network straight up to my house. No sharing the network with my neighbors. And I have Wi-Fi extender on the back of my house. I can be 2 blocks away from my house, still have my phone connected to my internet, and stream a game while walking the dogs. If you want service like that you can count on, head over to aloefiber.com and sign up for services today.
Weather from KETV Newswatch 7 is brought to you on 1620 The Zone by Certified Transmission.
Cloudy and cool, a few sprinkles or light showers possible this evening with the temperature in the lower 50s. We'll see clearing skies later tonight and drop back into the upper 30s for a low. And then mostly sunny to partly cloudy and mild on Wednesday with a high in the low 60s. I'm Chief Meteorologist Bill Ranby from KETV Newswatch 7.
1620 The Zone Traffic.
From the Plumride Time-Saving Traffic Center. Accident reported at 144th and Center. Second accident on 90th north of Western Avenue. Stop and go traffic on Dodge westbound between 72nd and 90th. This continues into slower traffic on Dodge between 120th and 129th. Slower traffic again on I-80 eastbound between I-680 and 84th. Then again on I-80 westbound between 42nd and 60th. I'm John Stanton.
This time-saving traffic is brought to you by Plumrite.
If your old water heater is on its last legs, don't wait. Plumrite makes it easy to trade in your old water heater by offering $1,000 off your new one. Change out your old water heater today and get it done right with Plumrite.
Out here in the middle of all these acres, it can feel like you're the only person on earth. And sometimes that's how it feels when you're going through tough times. Stress builds up. You have trouble sleeping. Maybe your mind is racing and you just don't feel like yourself. So what do? We get help. Lots of people are struggling with their mental health. It's more common than you think. The good news is there are people in our community who are here for us when times are tough. Sometimes just talking to someone can make all the difference in the world, so we don't feel so alone. One thing you can do is visit loveyourmindtoday.org for simple steps you can take to find the right solution for you. Whether it's hearing stories about what other people are going through or finding the resources we need to navigate the stresses in our lives. Visit loveyourmindtoday.org. That's loveyourmindtoday.org. Brought to you by the Huntsman Mental Health Institute and the Ad Council.
A long time ago, in a galaxy far, far away, the Star Wars saga comes out of hyperspace to Omaha, May 8th and 9th at the Holland Center. It's Star Wars: A New Hope. Watch Star Wars: A New Hope on the big screen while the Omaha Symphony plays the timeless John Williams score live to picture Luke, Leia, Obi-Wan, Han, Chewie, the droids, and Darth Vader. Star Wars: A New Hope in concert. Tickets at omahasymphony.org.
Now back to After Hours with Jimmy Allen on 1620 The Zone.
It's a Tuesday night here on 1620 The Zone, brought to you by Bellevue University. Keep up to date on all the championship action happening this spring on Bellevue's campus by downloading the BU Bruins app to your smartphone tonight. You'll be able to hear angelic voices like Jake Janicek, who was just producing on Sportsmanlike Conduct, on the call. All throughout Bellevue's campus this spring. Download the BU Bruins app to your smartphone tonight. The other note we got from Troy, and we're wrapping up the Troy Danon thoughts on the planned expansion of the stadium, as well as some of the little tidbits that he gave us yesterday. And listen, Dannon is so good in these situations. Like, I don't know if there's a better 1-2 punch from athletic director to head football coaches in the country for being able to keep a room in the palm of their hand and keep an audience's attention for an entire span, but also give you really good drops of information along the way as well.
Guys who can talk for 45 minutes straight without taking one single real breath.
Yeah, Troy, 402-951-1620 if you want to jump in and give us your thoughts again tonight. But the other thing that he just kind of threw out there was in regards to the stadium project is this is the other reason we canceled this is the reason we canceled the Tennessee game. And you have to it does make sense, right? Like, there's all the hoopla around trying to cancel the Oklahoma game and Scott wasn't ready and all that conversation. And I've been very adamant that there was some other reason. There had to be something in regards to the Tennessee game other than, hey, we're trying to do our best to make the college football playoff. Hey, we really want to set Matt Rule up for success. Hey, we don't feel like that this team's going to be ready by that point. Like, if you're going to have a home and home, and Dan threw it out there, we have 3,000 tickets allotted to the other team. If you're going to have a game where you can count on those 3,000 plus an additional sum of tickets to be sold for a team that's going to bring the maximum amount of fans that they can, you got to make sure you're accommodating to your fan base too. Now, could you have absolutely rescheduled that game and not necessarily canceled it? Well, we know the answer to that's yes, because they did that with that series already 4 other times. But I caution everybody, and we'll just call these the last 2 segments, the caution segments.
Yeah.
Because I caution everybody to not be surprised if we've heard the last of, this is the reason we've canceled the Tennessee game. And the discussion about the big split and what comes next and how much longer can we operate like this and what is the expansion of the college football playoff, as we find out today that the plan for the expansion of the NCAA tournament for men and women are planning on happening sooner rather than later, and probably as soon as by the end of this season, that there are a lot of moving parts in college athletics behind the scenes. And yes, on social media, did Nebraska look like it tucked its tail and ran from Knoxville as fast as possible?
Oh, yeah.
Yes, that is the way it came across. But I truly believe that we are on a crash course for a mandatory crossover game between the Big Ten and the SEC. And does that mean necessarily that it would have coincided exactly for when Nebraska was supposed to play Tennessee? No. But how much there seems to be this lockstep movement forward with the Big Ten and the SEC jockeying for position, it has to be for something, and it can't be for bragging rights. Like, obviously you want the most eyes for TV dollars, and yes, I understand that. But you can't convince me that there is not something bigger in the works, that it would make absolutely no sense for SEC and Big Ten teams to play right now, because it's eventually going to be mandatory. It just feels like it's coming.
It seems like it's something that should just, like, very similar to the way that before the season there is the ACC Big Ten Challenge in basketball. It should just be the Big Ten SEC Challenge.
Yeah.
Unofficially, just make the first week of the season best on best, worst on worst.
And it brings
up, see what happens.
It brings up a really interesting conversation too, though, right? Because, I mean, you've heard the head coach in Lincoln talk about, hey, we want to have our non-con be as simple as possible, and we want to have the most winnable games that we possibly can and have the easiest path to the college football playoff. It usually doesn't include an SEC team or potentially a playoff level SEC team for that matter.
So I hear that. It makes sense.
Mm.
But isn't the simplest thing playing a team that you don't generally have to pay to come play you?
Well, the money's not real. So, and this brings us back to our conversation.
Because it's millions of dollars to have a Houston Christian come.
Sure.
It's millions of dollars to have an Elon come in, or, whomever you want to come and play football against you, to just whip their butt 68-7.
Well, it goes back to our conversation we were having from a week ago that Dan is like, is it more beneficial to beat anybody by 50 points, or is it better to beat Power 4 team by 3? We don't know the answer to that, because there's no.
Oh, no, we're not doing this again. We're not doing this again.
There is no. Give me the clear-cut answer. What's more beneficial?
Beating a Power 4 team by 3 points.
Why?
Because if you beat Alabama by 3 points and then Alabama goes 10-2 at the end of the season, even if you're a 6-6 team, you can say, Yeah, but look, we deserve to go to a slightly better bowl game because we beat Alabama at the start of the season.
But what data do you have that backs? I'm not saying you're wrong. What data do you have that proves that?
Have you seen Tennessee play in a crappy bowl game?
Yeah.
Have you seen Alabama play in a crappy bowl
Well,
game?
they've been winning games though.
Not last year. Not last year. Did they make the college football playoff last year?
Did they play in a crappy bowl game?
Famously, they did not.
Did they play in a crappy bowl game?
They did not.
Yeah.
And you want to know why they didn't play in a? You know why they didn't play in a crappy bowl game? Because they beat the brakes off of Wisconsin.
Yeah, I think there needs to be parameters. Like we need to hear, and maybe you can't do this because of how often the college football playoff committee is going to change. But the fact that we don't know the answer to that question, there's no evidence that points to either one of those things. Yes, I agree with you. On paper, beating Virginia Tech by 3 should mean a whole lot more than beating Houston Christian by 54. I agree with that. But there is nothing written in stone anywhere that says if you beat this team by this much, or style points mean this, or playing a ranked opponent equals that. We don't have any of that. And that's why I think Matt Rule's approach at this time, with the way college football works now, where it's just like, okay, let's get to 10 as quickly as we possibly can, try to be a fringe top 4 Big Ten team, throw it at the wall and hope it sticks, because as of right now, that's all we have to go off of, is based on what the committee has done basically since the beginning of the 4-team playoff. It's valued wins. And it hasn't seemed to matter where they come from. It seems to matter when they happen and how many you have. Because they value, think about this.
Oh my.
Think about this.
This is gonna kill me.
Hold
Because
on.
guess what?
Think about this.
Thanks for the homework, Jimmy. Thanks for the homework. Because
Notre-
all I'm gonna do on Saturday is look this up now.
Notre Dame started off 0-2. And people found it a travesty that they didn't make the college football playoff last year. 0-2 to start the season. And they were hard-hedged on the discussion to be the 12th team into the conversation at the end of last season. I don't know if you can look at a team in any other time in history and point that out. And I don't think it has anything to do with the fact that they played a lesser-than schedule. I think it has to do with those losses. They win one more game, they're undoubtedly in, right? If Notre Dame wins 11 games, they're in no matter what. Yes?
Didn't they only win 9 games last year?
They went 10-2.
Yeah, so
answer the question
again.
Dan.
No, it's a terrible question.
Let's answer. Hold on.
No.
I'm not talking about last season. I'm talking about any season in history from here on out. Notre Dame goes 11-1. They're in, right?
They should be in general.
So this is a team that is a non-power 4 team.
This is the bull crap that you're about to do to me right now.
Only reason,
because last year when they went 10-2, who were the 2 teams that they lost to?
Okay, but hold on.
No.
They lost to 2 power.
Don't do the but.
They lost to 2 Power 4 teams.
They lost to 2 Power 4 teams, and then they whipped on the rest of their schedule.
Sure.
So guess what that means to the people who make the college football playoff rankings at the end of the season? They said you couldn't beat 2 Power 4 teams out of the 3 that were on your schedule. They said, get out of town.
Let's look at this year's Notre Dame schedule.
Louisville, USC, and Miami.
Let's look at this year's Notre Dame schedule as an example.
It's going to be bad.
Let's take next year's out of the equation, right? Because I think it's an unfair comparison because, as you pointed out, they played 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 Power 4 schools, by the way. If you take this year's Notre Dame schedule and you look at the 2026 year, you get Wisconsin, Michigan State, Purdue, North Carolina, Stanford, BYU, Miami, Boston College, SMU, and Syracuse as those two, as their Power 4 schools. So let's just say they're going to beat Rice and the Rices and the Navies of the world and write it off, right? I don't think it matters. I don't think it matters which teams they beat or they lose to. They go 11-1 this year. Listen, if they lose to Rice in week 2, and Notre Dame goes 11-1, they are 100% in because they're 11-1. And I think the way the last 2 seasons have gone with number 8 Ohio State and then number 10 Miami, obviously winning the national championship, then number 10 Miami making it all the way to the title game and giving Indiana all they could handle, I think it's the right call. I know nobody wants to hear that, but I think if we've learned anything from the 12-team expansion and this is going to poo-poo my thoughts on the expansion of the playoff because I hate the idea, but I think if the College Football Playoff Committee can hang their hat on anything, it is that the expansion to 12 has been the correct call, and that leniency on losses, specifically earlier in the season, has been the correct decision over the past 2 years. And
it depends upon what your definition of leniency is.
But that's the point, right? Is we don't have a definition on anything.
You do, though. You do.
Give me one example. Give me
I
one.
can.
Give me
I
one
cannot.
thing. Give me one
I
thing.
cannot.
Written,
right
give
now.
Me one thing written.
Let
in
me
stone.
finish what I'm saying.
Okay, I'm just asking.
Because
for a
I cannot
concrete example.
imagine. I cannot imagine a world where, let's just take last year's Nebraska schedule.
Okay.
We win every single game except for Houston Christian.
They're in.
I cannot
100%.
I cannot imagine a world in which that would be the truth. I cannot imagine a world where the College Football Playoff Committee, in all of their glory and honor that they have in their heart, would say, yes, we're going to put an 11-1 Nebraska team
Can I tell you why you're wrong?
that lost to Houston Christian
Can I tell you why you're wrong?
into the college football playoff.
Because, and this is why I specifically bring up Notre Dame, because the parameters in which they put Notre Dame's playoff ranking is a possibility. All Notre Dame has to do now is be ranked in the top 12. And again, it's a little bit of an outlier because they're not in a conference, right?
Yeah.
But if Notre Dame loses to Rice and then finishes the rest of the season 10-0, you don't think they're sniffing the top 12? They're 100%
Quite possibly.
But
I'm going to give him a possibility of doing it. But
think about it.
Look at the schedule.
You're contradicting your point, though.
No, I'm not.
Because if they were to lose to Houston Christian, they would have 9 wins over Big Ten schools, plus whatever other they didn't play another Power 5 team.
No, we didn't.
In a season where they would,
of course,
they would have 10 Power 5 wins. I don't care who you are, where your losses are. If you have 10 Power 5 wins, you're in no matter what. Because that's the.
I don't know. I just don't like the idea of there being a stain.
I don't like there being.
That's the one thing. I feel like if it's like the final game of the season and Ohio State loses to Michigan and that's their one loss, that's different. Same way with Auburn and Alabama. If Auburn is undefeated and Alabama is undefeated up until the last week of the season, and then you have to pick between one of the two of them, that doesn't get weighted as much because it's against a power opponent.
Sure. Here's why I have the biggest problem.
It should be weighted more at the beginning and less at the end.
Here's why I hate the way this is structured now, though, because they've put parameters in place. It's like not like they haven't tried giving us something as far as a parameter, right? Like now, no matter what, the top 4 Power 4 conference champions get in, right? Automatic bids. You've given an automatic bid to Notre Dame in as long as they're a top 12 ranked team according to your standards.
Allegedly.
The other 5, or what would that be? No, the other 7, excuse me, available spots are just up to the committee's standards. And by the way, going into week 12 into the championship weekend, they can change those completely based on whatever they feel like that week. I think there needs to be a point system. And I know, stop me if this sounds a whole lot like what the BCS used to be, but you can't help but argue that 9 times out of 10, the BCS, and I don't think there was 10 BCS champions, but more often than not, the BCS determined who the best team in college football was that season. More times than not. And yes, there was computer systems, there was a whole lot of stuff thrown into it, but I think there needs to be value points associated with. We talk about it, right? It's a conversation. It's not like we're introducing these foreign things to the discussion. What's the value of a top 25 win? What's the value of a Power 4 win? Because I don't want to hear that the Power 4 and the Group of 5 are worth the same amount. Because you've already told me that an ACC, a Big 12, an SEC, and a Big 10 champion are more valuable than any other conference because you've given them an automatic bid. So you're already admitting they're not the same thing. So give me a reason to understand, to build to the end, that these 7 teams are worthy of that shot. That's all I'm asking for. And if I'm a head football coach or an athletic director or somebody that is, if I'm the South Carolinas or the Notre Dames of the world from last year, it's like, I feel like we should have got in. Give me a reason to keep me out. Like, how do I fix this next year? You said I was worthy, or we were close, or we were on the fringe. What gets me over the hump? And obviously the answer is win more games. But if you're a South Carolina of the world, how often do you see in a 10-2, 11-1 season? Doesn't happen very often down there in Cocky Land.
It's not that hard. It truly isn't that hard. win your games, and specifically for Notre Dame, you are allowed to go 11-1. You are allowed to lose one of your games against a power opponent. If you lose to anyone who's ranked in the top 25 just once, that is fine. You were allowed one loss on your season, and it better be to a power opponent. And to be fair, it better be to one of your better teams that you're playing against. BYU in Miami. Those are your two that you're allowed to lose. If you don't beat Wisconsin, Michigan State, Purdue, North Carolina, Stanford, Navy, SMU, and Syracuse, and Boston College, you don't deserve to be in the college football playoff.
I just wanted to make sense. That's all I'm asking for. I don't think it's too much.
Period. It's a period on the end of the sentence. You're allowed to lose one game to a power conference school if you're Notre Dame.
Okay, but
if you lose two, get out. You don't deserve to be in the top 12. You have two losses. There are going to be plenty of teams that go 11-1 next year.
Ooh.
I guarantee it. Plenty. There are going to be plenty. At least 7.
You think there's going to be 7 11-1 teams
before conference championship weekend?
You want to know how many there were this year?
2.
5.
I believe in college football.
But again, here's the thing, man. We're talking about one team. Like, it needs to be uniform for everybody. This is what a win versus a top 25. Like, bring back some semblance of the BCS where you're just putting in points and they equal to this. I don't think there's a need for the committee. Give me the rules and make it make sense. And I think it works out for everybody. If you missed this segment, check it out on our radio replay page on 1620thezone.com. It was brought to you tonight by our friends at Railcar. We told you at the beginning of the night, it is a Taste Test Tuesday. You could be eating at Railcar on us tonight for free. How do you do that? You head over to our Twitter, head over to our Facebook page, whichever one. You can do both. It's going to enter you twice into a drawing to win a $25 gift card to Railcar. All you got to do is follow us. Follow Railcar on social media, and we will enter you into that drawing to win a $25 gift card tonight. I just had the best flatbread pizza of my life. Shout out to Chef Jared for the Harvestland Airline chicken that he provided tonight, along with the braised beef flatbread that we had tonight with the sweet Thai chili sauce to go with it. It was incredible. Head out to Railcar and grab dinner and drinks tonight. How did Dan Campen in the War Room in Green Bay do this weekend in the NFL Draft? We'll tell you. 1620 zone. Hey, everybody, it's Jimmy Allen here for Bob Williams at Williams Law. Let Bob defend you and your loved ones. If you find yourself in a situation where you've been wrongfully accused, made a bad decision, or just don't understand what your rights are when you're facing litigation, head over to WilliamsLawLLC.com tonight. Bob and his team are going to give you a free, no-obligation legal consultation. They'll sit you down, explain your rights, get you ready for your big day in court, and make sure that Williams Law is the right fit for you with a free, no-obligation legal consultation. Head over to WilliamsLawLLC.com tonight.
How long's it been since we all had brunch at Early Bird?
Way too long.
So this weekend, I need a mimosa in the worst way.
Already talking to the girls in the group chat.
I'll get us on the wait list so we don't stand around hungry.
Make brunch the best part of your weekend at Early Bird Brunch. Chef-driven favorites, craveable cocktails, and all the weekend vibes. Pick one of 5 locations and join the wait list at earlybirdbrunch.com. Early Bird Brunch, not your everyday brunch, every day.
Many people go back to the dealership out of habit or because they think the dealer is the only one who knows how to fix their car. At Omaha Car Care, we offer a better option. We have ASE certified technicians, the technology to service any vehicle, and free loaner cars. The dealer will sell you a package of services. We'll provide the service you want for your car as your trusted partner. I'm Rick Betker, owner of Omaha Car Care, and we'll be along for the ride.
All right, son. Time to put out this campfire.
Dad, we learned about this in school.
Oh, did you now? Okay. What's first?
Smokey Bear said to.
First drown it with a bucket of water, then stir it with a shovel.
Wow, you sound just like him.
Then he said.
If it's still warm, then do it again.
Where can I learn all this?
It's all on SmokeyBear.com with other wildfire prevention tips, because only you can prevent wildfires.
Brought to you by the USDA Forest Service, your state forester, and the Ad Council.
The word father means a lot to me. Being that support system for them, and as a man, it's important in a child's life. I think men can be a little stubborn sometimes, where they may want the help, they may not know how to ask. it's hard for a man to speak his emotions. Those tears, they mean something. In a rap way, tears are water and water is life. And when you shed those tears, that's love. That's real love. Sometimes as dads, I think we're too hard on ourselves. Life can come at you really quick, and it can be really tough at times. But then you put that one foot in front of the other, and you keep doing the right thing. Slowly that voice goes away, you know? Rap away, you gotta pray for yourself, as well as for everybody else, but never forget yourself.
Never stop being a dad. That's dedication. Find out more at fatherhood.gov. Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services and the Ad Council.
You are listening to After Hours with Jimmy Allen on 1620 The Zone.
.641 on a Taste Test Tuesday at 1620 The Zone, brought to you by Bellevue University. If you're looking for the ideal college experience this fall, head over to bellevue.edu, register for classes, and become a Bruin tonight. We got winners and losers from the NFL draft. And Dan, I feel really gross and dirty saying this, and I think I'm going to need a shower after I say it out loud. And I know I'm probably going to get killed on Twitter. I've been known to have a bad take here or there. I didn't hate the Los Angeles Rams draft.
I thought Ty Simpson was weird, but I think other people made me think that it was weird.
It was weird in the sense of where they were, where he was taken at. But I'm gonna tell you this: if you're Sean McVay and you're the Rams staff and you feel like he's the guy for the future and you're concerned about his lack of experience, isn't that the best place to take him?
Yes, and quite possibly with one of the most open and honest and maybe one of the headiest football players at the quarterback position that we've ever seen. Simply just
that might be a bit of a reach, but go ahead. I'll allow it.
One of the more heady players, not the headiest, but a guy who can mold someone hopefully into a quality NFL talent. I didn't mind the Ty Simpson pick. I thought it was weird at 13, but I thought maybe you figured that you had to go out and make that happen.
He wasn't going to be there in the second round. And a lot of people that are poo-pooing this pick are looking at it from a stance of their franchise. No, the Los Angeles Rams did not win the Super Bowl last year.
Famously.
But they had one of the best seasons in the NFL. And they have a luxury that 6 of the 32 teams have, where they're built for right now. And the draft doesn't have to be about how do we win this year. Now, could it still have been the case? Could you made some picks here that might have been able to help you this season? Yeah, absolutely. But I think the Rams, the 49ers, who I'm going to get to in a minute, the Seahawks, to some degree, the Patriots, to some degree, a handful of other teams in the AFC, probably 2 or 3 more. I still think the Chiefs are kind of in that discussion, despite how last season went. It's not about how do you get better this year for those teams. And I think that you saw the Rams make a long-term investment, and I honestly think it may have been the perfect place for Ty Simpson to fall, because any other situation where he was going to be asked to do too much too fast was going to be a lose-lose situation. The other team that I thought, I have a couple teams that are winning, but maybe not the best, definitely not the best draft. I don't know, and I don't know if we've ever been able to say this before about this team specifically. The Jets may have had the luckiest draft of the entire NFL. For guys that just kind of slid to where they were, that weren't projected to be there when mock drafts or when initial big boards came out, like the fact that they got David Bailey to fall to them, and Kenyon Sedick was sitting there too in the third. In the first round, excuse me, and then their third pick in the first being Omar Cooper. Like, those are guys. I agree, it's going to cost them in the long run. Those are guys. You're talking about guys that were projected top 15 picks sitting there at the back end of the first round.
Those are money picks.
Absolutely. There's a lot of people that thought D'Angelo Pounds could have been the best defensive back in this draft. And they got him in the second round. Like, they just kept. If you're in the Jets war room, you have to be going, this can't happen again. This entire draft. I thought they had a very, very, very good draft, which we have not been able to say about the New York Jets really since like the DeBrincat Ferguson draft. And it just felt like they just had the best available player, which also filled a need, fall to them in every single round. It was incredible to watch.
Yeah, and I mean, if you want to talk about, I think the sleeper pick for them, Inez Cooper, the offensive guard in that 6th round, that is going to do wonders for them. Not to mention the fact that Daryl Jackson Jr., their 4th round pick, is not a slouch at defensive tackle. And then sneakily, just a couple picks later, getting Kate Klumdick out of Clemson. He's not the best, but he's a Jets quarterback.
Yeah, which unfortunately he's a Jets quarterback.
Yeah. So it could mean good. It could mean bad.
Yeah. I was surprised that Carson Beck fell to the 3rd round. I think he's a good fit for Arizona. It's just one of those drafts where there wasn't that for sure quarterback. I mean, everybody's going to point at Fernando Mendoza, and I'll hear you, but we saw with Garrett Nussmeier, right? Falls all the way to the 7th round with Kansas City, and a lot of people thought before the season he was going to be a guy that may go in the top 2 rounds. I loved seeing Cole Payton get drafted. I think it's a really interesting fit for him to go to Philly. I don't think he's playing quarterback there. I'm just throwing that out there, but. We talked about it ad nauseum all last week, Dan, that like this draft is going to be represented and defined by the interior linemen on both the offense and the defensive side of the ball. With that being said, I loved Dallas's draft. I thought
home run.
Yeah, over and over and over again. By the way, I thought my thoughts on Caleb Downs. I know he's a 5'11" safety. I think he's got the possibility of being the best player in this entire draft. And the fact that he landed where he did, Dallas had to be salivating over that. I really feel like they addressed a lot of their needs. I had them as a winner. The losers that I already talked about San Francisco, much like what I said about LA, but the reason I have them as a loser, I feel like they reached on almost every single pick. Like they just picked out of where they needed to. I mean, they got some necessity out of it, but it felt like almost everybody they drafted, they could have waited another round to draft. My biggest loser of the entire draft is the Minnesota Vikings. You had a star Hall of Fame level safety and Harrison Smith retire, and you waited till the late end of the 3rd round to try to replace that guy. They clearly need some salary cap help. And you're going to have to get really good at some positions that are very young very quickly. But they did not do themselves any favors. And the one other team that I want to highlight is for a franchise for my entire life has had their poop in a group. I have no idea what the Pittsburgh Steelers are doing. I have no idea what they want the identity of that team to be. I don't understand why they let Mike Tomlin go. I don't understand one move they made in this entire draft. Apparently, they really trust Mason Rudolph, I guess. I was confused by every pick that they made.
We're gonna dive more into Pittsburgh during buy or sell.
All right, well, we got to get to the social media soundbite before we get there. If you missed our thoughts on the NFL draft tonight, check it out on our radio replay page at 1620thezone.com. It was brought to you by Mad Hatter Auto Repair. We just sent somebody a shout out to listener Sam, who wrote in and said he took his car over to Mad Hatter. They had an issue with their muffler. They got him back on the road within an hour. If you want service like that you can count on, where you are treated like royalty, follow the little white rabbit over to 140th and Center or over off Broadway in Council Bluffs. You might have to get off the road fast. You're going to get back on it even faster. Check out Mad Hatter Auto Repair tonight. We'll be right back finding out what's trending on social media. 1620 The Zone.
This time-saving traffic is brought to you by Fernando's Omaha.
Spring, it's the reward for surviving another winter. Fernando's, it's the reward for any day that ends in Y. Great Mexican food, awesome margaritas, and a wonderful family atmosphere. Fernando's, Omaha's favorite Mexican for more than 30 years.
Creighton Blue Jay Baseball is on the air. You can catch your 2026 Creighton Blue Jay baseball team all spring long on Yacht Rock 1180. Once again, that's Creighton Blue Jay Baseball on Yacht Rock 1180.
Producing the best look in town since 1974, Lanahaw is your one-stop for all your landscape needs. Our premium mulch products provide quality you can count on. Get free local delivery on 4 cubic yards or more. Rooted in quality, unmatched value, Lanahaw, 192nd and Center.
Spring into deals at Lowe's and let your inner gardening guru out. Get select 1-pint annuals for $1 to start planting. Plus, get a free additional Cobalt 40-volt 2-amp-hour battery when you buy a select Cobalt 40-volt trimmer and blower combo kit for your lawn. The smell of fresh-cut grass, new plants, and weekends in the yard? It's springtime, and our best lineup is here at Lowe's. Valid through 5/6. Annuals offer excludes Alaska and Hawaii. While supplies last. Selection varies by location.
Running a business means wearing multiple hats. So if you're like me, you probably started out using your personal phone, taking client calls and texts nonstop. As my business grew, I needed something smarter. That's when I switched to Quo, the #1 business phone system. Quo works right on your phone or computer. No carrying 2 phones, no clunky landline, just one easy app you can try for free. Your team can share one number and handle calls and texts together like a shared inbox. Any teammate can jump into the conversation, so customers get faster responses. And Quo's AI assistant summarizes your calls and responds to customers 24/7, so you never miss a lead or opportunity. All this starts at just $15 a month. That's basically 2 coffees. You can even keep your current business phone number. Find out why 90,000 businesses trust Quo. Money is on the line. Always say hello with Quo. Try Quo for free at quo.com/sports. That's quo.com/sports to try Quo free. QUO.com/SPORTS.
Now back to After Hours with Jimmy Allen on 1620 The Zone.
Wrapping at the top of the first hour here on 1620 The Zone, brought to you by Bellevue University. If you're looking for the ideal college experience this fall, head over to bellevue.edu, register for classes, and become a Bruin tonight. Dan Campinen has been surfing the web all day to find out what is trending on social media. He tells us now.
Indeed, I have. And surprisingly enough, tonight's social media soundbite, that was on purpose, sort of, comes to us from NBA Showtime. But we're not talking about the NBA. Can promise you that.
Okay.
We finally have a reason why this guy decided to call it quits. That is one Mr. Mike Tomlin saying that, actually, just being honest, saying, hey, I wasn't having a lot of success in the playoffs. It's kind of what you're expected to do as a Steelers coach, is to have a lot of success in the playoffs. So decided to call it quits. Shouted out a lot of his guys there. Interesting wrinkle, though. Obviously, we'll be joining Football Night in America this fall on one of the 3-letter networks.
Sunday night. Sorry,
but there's been an interesting wrinkle that's been thrown in here because allegedly, and very heavy on the allegedly here, the Patriots are now possibly waiting on one Mike Vrabel to step away from the team in a more permanent fashion.
Ain't happening.
And a name that has been thrown around as a replacement for Mike Vrabel is another Mike by the name of Tomlin.
Yeah, here's the thing, man. Do we forget about Bill Cowher? Do we forget about Urban Meyer? Like, listen very closely. For the next decade of your life, outside of an untimely death by Mike Tomlin, hope that doesn't happen, every single time a job opening happens, you are going to hear Mike Tomlin's name associated. Every time you hear a major Power 4 football job open up, you're going to hear Nick Saban's name pop up out of it. This is just what happens. I think Mike Tomlin is done. I don't think there's any part of him that wants to coach anywhere other than Pittsburgh, which is why he chose to walk away. And listen, he walked away 6 years older than Bill Cowher was when he decided to retire. I don't. It didn't look like he loved the game the way he used to, and I think it was the right time for him to walk away. I don't want to see him coach anywhere else. I don't think Mike Vrabel is going to be let go or fired or whatever, although he probably should. Dan, I mean, your thought. Do you think Tomlin's ever coaching anywhere else? I just don't see it.
I hope he doesn't.
Yeah.
I don't think he will. Honestly, it's kind of one of those like silly things. He doesn't really have a reason to.
Right. Like, what does he have left to
like
prove? It's not like he needs a ring, right?
That's kind of my bigger point of it is he's wildly successful. He's never had a season under 500.
Famously.
And honestly, I think, and this is going to sound like a weird stretch, but if I'm Mike Tomlin and I'm considering even going back into the ranks of coaching, I'm looking back on some of the times in my career and I'm going, won a Super Bowl.
Check.
That's positive. I definitely want to win another Super Bowl. That would be cool if I could do it twice.
Sure.
I had to deal with Ben Roethlisberger and Antonio Brown at the same time.
Which probably took years off his career anyway.
When Ben Roethlisberger was constantly talking bad about our star wide receiver on the radio. I don't like that. Remember having to deal with all those personalities? I would hope that his lovely wife and both of his lovely sons pull him aside and go, hey, Dad, it was really cool that you coached the Pittsburgh Steelers. That should be the end of it. You don't need to do more, buddy.
Well, we're going to find out what else Dan's got for buy or sell. We come back. If you missed this segment, check it out on our radio replay page on 1620thezone.com. It was brought to you by Recon Pest Services. As it warms up outside, the creepy crawlies are going to be coming out of the ground. If they haven't started to already, you're going to need protection around your house. Head over to ReconPestServices.com. They've sprayed at our house 2 weeks ago. We have not seen an insect anywhere near our home since then. That's protection you can count on. If that's what you want for your home, head over to ReconPestServices.com tonight. We'll be right back. Buy or sell, 1620 Zone.
KOZN Bellevue, Omaha, Council Bluffs. This is 1620 The Zone. Weather from KETV Newswatch 7 is brought to you on 1620 The Zone by Certified Transmission.
Cloudy and cool, a few sprinkles or light showers possible this evening with the temperature in the lower 50s. We'll see clearing skies later tonight and drop back into the upper 30s for a low. And then mostly sunny to partly cloudy and mild on Wednesday with a high in the low 60s. I'm Chief Meteorologist Bill Ranby from KETV Newswatch 7.
Spring is here, and you know what that means? Rain, roots, and backed up drains. Over the winter, tree roots grow deep into your pipes, and spring rains can push your main line over the edge. Before you're dealing with a messy backup, call AX Plumbing. Their team specializes in mainline cleaning, root removal, and keeping your plumbing flowing smoothly all season long. Fast, reliable, done right the first time. Don't wait for disaster. Schedule your spring drain cleaning today at axpsservice.com. AX Plumbing, clearing the way for a stress-free spring.
Host is roasting every morning. Host is roasting every day.
Host Coffee stands as the vibrant heart of every break room, offering the unique fusion of traditional quality and modern flair. We're not just your coffee provider, we're the center of memorable workplace moments. Call Host Coffee today.
Proudly serving Nebraska since 1972. Host Coffee is always roasting something good for you.
Car repair is car repair. Most places you go can change your oil or fix your brakes. The difference is the experience you'll get at Omaha Car Care. We're part of the community. We were born here, and we believe that our relationship with you should be built to last. We're going to consult you, not sell you. We're going to give you a free loaner car. We're going to treat you like a valued friend that we want to continue to see in the years to come. I'm Rick Betker, owner of Omaha Car Care, and we'll be along for the ride.
Hello?
Hey, sis. Got a sec?
Yeah, what's up?
Take a look at the picture I just sent you. I'm walking into Hellsburg and want to get Mom something special for Mother's Day.
Yeah, she's done so much for us this year. Let's see. Diamond pendant. Oh, she'd love this.
Great. I'll get this, which means you're in charge of flowers.
Okay, deal.
This Mother's Day, save up to 50% on timeless gifts for Mom. Shop at a store near you or at Hellsburg.com.
Big names dominate HVAC, but Titanium HVAC offers top service without the hefty price. With spring checks under $99, ensure your comfort and peace of mind. Discover the difference with Titanium HVAC in Omaha. Visit titaniumomaha.com today, a Carrier dealer.
Creighton coverage on 1620 The Zone is powered by Chandler Conway, Nebraska personal injury lawyers you can trust. Injured in an accident? Visit chandlerconway.com for a free consultation. Don't face this challenge alone. That's chandlerconway.com.
Now back to After Hours with Jimmy Allen on 1620 The Zone.
Top of the second hour here at 1620 The Zone, brought to you by Bellevue University. If you're looking for the ideal college experience, head over to bellevue.edu and register for classes tonight. Jimmy Allen, Dan Campion with you here on 1620 The Zone. Top of the second hour always means it's time for buy or sell. Dan?
Indeed, it is time for buy or sell. Jimmy, 64, 68, 76. That is not my locker combination. The NCAA is expanding the tournament in March to 76 teams. Buy or sell, this is unneeded and a rash decision.
It's incredibly irrational. I understand the premise. Like, obviously, I'm not going to try to sugarcoat this. This is for money and eyeballs, right? But I think it is important to note that you've had more teams from the Division I level or Division II level, Division III level, other lower levels of basketball make the jump to D1. And that's what this is going to be sold to you as. The real reason for this is to keep the Power Four happy. There's more SEC, more ACC, more Big 12, Big 10 teams being allowed in. We'll throw the Big East into that conversation for this reason. And I'm going to steal a line from my good friend Jeff Goldblum. Are we spending so much time deciding if we can to not realize if we should? Because can you listen? Just let everybody in. I'm not being facetious here. What's the difference? If we're gonna, because it's not about merit anymore, it's about numbers. Just seed everybody. How many teams are there in college basketball now? 233, right?
Yeah, 233, I believe. That sounds correct.
Try to put as even of a number as you can, and then let everybody have a shot. Give us as many playing games as you need. Get everybody in the tournament and let everybody run the gamut. I don't understand what the difference would be.
I just don't understand. I mean, I guess I do, just because it is straight up money.
Wow, 365, by the way. We weren't even close.
It is straight up money, and that's the only reason they're doing it. It's money and it's eyeballs. And I'm perfectly fine with it because I understand that it's a selfish decision by the NCAA to say, hey, people love this singular thing that we do for basketball in March. What if we just made it more basketball?
I will say
the bracket's not going to fit on one piece of paper anymore, though. It's going to get too big.
Well, nobody puts them on paper anyway.
You don't print your bracket out?
76 of 365 is only 20% of teams, though. So there's still 80% of the field that's missing. Okay. What else we got, Dan?
The draft is over, and interestingly, the Steelers do not take a quarterback, leading to the question, is Aaron Rodgers coming back? The Steelers have UFA tagged him, meaning the Steelers technically have control over his possible future and destination. Buy or sell, the Steelers deal him before training camp.
I think so. I don't think he's coming back to Pittsburgh. I'll buy that he gets shipped off somewhere. The other thing is, we were sold the bill of goods for a couple of weeks that the major domino to the NFL draft was what's happening with A.J. Brown.
Yeah.
Now, both A.J. Brown and I almost said Ben Roethlisberger and Aaron Rodgers are still currently residents of the state of Philadelphia. I think it's more likely that Rodgers is back in Philadelphia than A.J. Brown is. So we'll see.
Wow.
I don't think either one of them end up in their respective teams, their respective cities. I just said Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. Sorry. That's the state.
They're both in Pennsylvania,
yeah.
So
I think I said Philadelphia though, didn't I?
You did, yeah.
Okay, yeah. Well, I think they both end up in. I don't think either one ends up in Pennsylvania, and I just think that both of them are not long for their current situations.
You're having your Charlie Day moment.
No, I'm just
did you guys know that Pittsburgh is also in Pennsylvania?
Just really tired.
I thought that Philadelphia was the only city in Pennsylvania.
What else we got?
Speaking of the Steelers, Russell Wilson is being looked at it to be the quarterback 2 for the Jets. Buy or sell, Russ would actually be quarterback 1 for the Jets.
Yeah, I think you'd. I mean, it's the Jets. So what's likely going to happen is they're going to shuffle Russell Wilson out there. He's going to be asked to do way too much. Then he'll end up getting hurt, and then it'll end up falling back to Geno Smith. I don't know. Do you really feel great with Geno Smith, Russell Wilson, and Cade Klubnik as your starting quarterback situation? I can't imagine that you do. I mean, they also still have Bailey Zappi on their roster too. So yeah, a lot to like. What are they gonna do? They have 5 quarterbacks. So I don't know.
I don't like it one bit. It doesn't really make sense to me. Obviously, Russell Wilson, if you can, go get paid. You may as well just go get paid to hold a clipboard if people think you're going to be quarterback 2. Prove to them that you're not going to be quarterback 2 because you're better than Geno Smith. At least hypothetically, you should be. On paper, you should be better than Geno Smith, but
ooh,
I just think
how do
it's
you
weird.
feel if you're Russell Wilson and day one you show up for the first game of the season? Obviously, it wouldn't be the day you show up, but for the first game of the season, and they start Geno Smith over you. Ugh, it'd be a bad look for Russ.
It would not be a fun day in New York. And
I don't think it's gonna be a fun day either way.
Yeah. Speaking of quarterbacks, our friends at The Athletic have done the thing that we all know that they were going to do.
Way too early list of something?
Oh, way too early 2027 NFL mock draft. And going number 1, unsurprisingly so, is Arch Manning from Texas.
That's unsurprising to you? Listen, I was just looking at this in the break and the list items that we have up on the board. There's some of those that need to be deleted off of there or erased. Obviously, Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce have made it much further past Christmas. That was a Josh Hodson thing from like 4 years ago. I don't think Arch Manning's going in the first round.
Ooh.
Not only is he not going to be the number 1 overall pick, I don't think he's going in the first round.
So, interestingly enough, the names that follow him, Jeremiah Smith at 2, Dante Moore at 3, Leonard Moore from Notre Dame, cornerback, at number 4, and the Tennessee Titans allegedly will be selecting Dylan Stewart 5th, the edge from South Carolina. Buy or sell on one simple piece of this list. Dante Moore goes after Arch Manning in next year's draft.
So I think Dante Moore is going to end up being the number 1 overall pick. I do. I think he's the best quarterback. And traditionally, whoever picks in that spot, and they have the Athletic has Arizona picking in that spot. They're going to go quarterback. I think Dante Moore will be that pick. I just don't think Arch Manning's as good as we thought he was going to be. I think he's a very middle of. I'll even go on a bigger limb. I don't think Arch Manning goes to like the 3rd or 4th round.
Wow. And so personally for me, I sell on this because I think that people are going to get last name blinders on.
It happens
when it comes to Mr. Manning.
Yep.
And they're going to say, well, his uncle has a Super Bowl. His other uncle has 2 Super Bowls. What if we just get the guy because we know that his last name is Manning and he can win us 2 Super Bowls at minimum?
Peyton's got 2, by the way.
I know.
Okay.
I realized that night. That's why I said both of his uncles have won 2. He could also win 2. It's crazy. Finally, last one that we got tonight, expanding to 16 teams, flattened odds, and a relegation zone. These are going to be features of the new NBA draft lottery, allegedly. Buy or sell, this is all just a bit too late. It's dead, Adam.
Yeah, read it again.
They're expanding the lottery to 16 teams, giving it flattened odds, and what they're calling a relegation zone. These are going to be features of the new NBA lottery. Buy or sell, this is all a bit too late.
I don't understand why we still do it. Nobody believes it's. I don't even care if it is real. Nobody believes it's real. Nobody watches it. It's like number 472nd most important date on the sport calendar. It's fine for the TV show that it is. Just find a better system than ping pong balls.
So in this system, it is interesting because the 3 teams that have the worst record actually get penalized for having the worst record.
Right.
And they have fewer lottery balls for that number 1 pick starting in the 27 draft.
Shouldn't you be trying to? And this is why nobody watches the NBA. They don't do anything to help out the small market teams. They don't help any. Like, listen, you wouldn't know it right now, but the Magic are absolutely curb stomping the Pistons in the NBA playoffs right now. And you wouldn't know by looking at it that it's an 8 seed versus a 1 seed. And by the way, the NBA is going to do absolutely nothing to promote Orlando's team if they're able to knock off the number 1 seed. You will not hear a peep on TNT about it heading into the next round if it happens.
You know what's so funny is that is a great point, Jimmy, because I obviously am a fan of the NBA.
Yeah.
I enjoy the professional basketball product.
What an show that game at the end of the game last night with the Wolves and the Nuggets was, huh? Oof.
I did. I almost threw my remote out my window.
I thought Jokic doing the pull apart thing was going to be the social media soundbite, by the way.
No, Nikola Jokic will not be the social media soundbite until the Minnesota Timberwolves win, which is probably not going to happen. But you make a good point because
they never have.
None of what the Orlando Magic are doing right now is top tier news. It is barely discussed on sports media shows right now. They are just glossing over the fact that the Detroit Pistons, who are supposed to be hypothetically the best team in the East, are down 3 games to 1 against the 8 seed in their same conference. Granted, the East is a lot closer than the West is talent-wise from top to bottom. But if you were to, I don't know, turn on that show that Stephen A does every day, guess what? Guess all of what you're going to hear about is you're going to hear about the New York Knicks the whole time because that's what pays the bills for them. It's not the Orlando Magic. And for some reason, the NBA and sports media don't understand that you can embrace a guy like Pablo Banchero very easily, and they don't do it because they don't care about what's going on outside of the 3 large market teams.
Correct.
I mean, luckily for ESPN and for the NBA right now, the Lakers are beating the Rockets pretty handily every single night. So they've got all the LeBron glaze that they can possibly get in the NBA going right now.
For 1 more year, anyway.
Oh, no. I guarantee you he's going to try to trot this career out until he's 50. And you want to know why that is? It's because he doesn't know what he's going to do after. He keeps on saying, I'm going to be the owner of a basketball team. Yeah, right. You're going to get so tired of that.
I mean, he's got enough money.
He's got enough money, but he's going to get bored. He's like, I'm taking up golf now. Congratulations on your one old man hobby. Next, you should take up knitting.
He just really wants to be Michael, doesn't he?
Oh, my gosh. Yes, he does.
Hey, if you missed Buy or Sell tonight, check it out on our radio replay page at 1620thezone.com. It was brought to you by our friends out at Railcar. Tonight, 144th and Blondo is the place to be. You want a new menu item to try that maybe you haven't checked out at Railcar? Try the braised beef flatbread pizza. We had it for the first time tonight. Delicious sweet Thai chili sauce over the top of it. It's the perfect combination of sweet and spicy with a little kick. Check it out at Railcar, 144th and Blondo tonight. We open up the bar to you. We come back at 1620 The Zone.
Hello?
Hey sis, got a sec?
Yeah, what's up?
Take a look at the picture I just sent you. I'm walking into Hellsberg and want to get Mom something special for Mother's Day.
Yeah, she's done so much for us this year. Let's see. Diamond pendant. Oh, she'd love this.
Great. I'll get this, which means you're in charge of flowers.
Okay, deal.
This Mother's Day, save up to 50% on timeless gifts for Mom. Shop at a store near you or at Hellsberg.com.
I'm Doug Nodgard with Equitable Bank. We know your time matters, so when you call us, we answer on the very first ring. That's our promise to you. We value your business and will treat you like a friend and neighbor, because more than likely, you are one. While other banks hide behind technology, we combine the best of both. Top-notch digital banking and online banking with people who care. Got a question or need help? We're just one ring away. At Equitable Bank, We take banking personally because you deserve it. Member FDIC.
Criminal, civil, personal. If you or a loved one is facing a lawsuit, let Williams Law represent you and your family today. With more than 20 years litigation experience in Nebraska, Williams Law will defend you with the dedication you deserve. If you're facing a DUI or if your son or daughter has been accused of a crime, Williams Law is here for you. Call 402-522-6317 to get a free, no obligation consultation and to get the representation you deserve today.
Hey, neighbor. Oh, my gosh. Is your energy bill sky high again, too?
Not anymore. My old windows were so leaky, it was as if I had a window open while my AC was running. So I replaced them with Champion Windows.
Champion Windows? Do you like them?
Like them. I love them. And they're guaranteed for a lifetime. They made the whole process easy. I just went online and booked my free estimate all by myself. And I got a great deal where I could buy 2 replacement windows and get 2 free.
A lifetime guarantee and buy 2 windows and get 2 free? Does that mean if I need 8 windows, I can buy 4 and get 4 free?
Sure does.
What if I buy 6? Do I get 6 free?
Yep.
Or if I get 10 windows, do I get 10 free?
Just call Champion Windows already.
If your windows are drafty, ugly, or broken, now is the best time to replace your home's windows with new Champion Windows. Book your free estimate online at championsavenow.com or call 877-GO-CHAMPION right now. All discounts apply to our regular prices. Select styles apply. Minimum purchase required. Cannot be combined with other advertised offers. See store or website for details.
Starting your spring to-do list? Don't forget Lanahaw's Premium Mulch. Top quality at the best price. Convenient loading available for pickup or enjoy free local delivery on 4 cubic yards or more. Rooted in quality, unmatched value. Lanahaw, 192nd and Center.
Are you ready for the game changer of the day? Bellevue University has a new state-of-the-art 72,000 square foot field house featuring premium courts, generous fan seating, top-tier locker rooms, dedicated athletic training, and a strength and conditioning space, plus a whole lot more. It's not just a venue, it's a home court advantage. We're for you and for college sports. Visit BUBruins.com.
When you shop local, you help strengthen our community. So if you need roof repair, gutters, siding, even windows, call local Pyramid Contractors. They're the #1 roofer in Omaha for more than a dozen years. Let Pyramid Contractors come and give you a free estimate. Give them a call at 402-502-9300. That's 402-502-9300. Or visit them online at
PyramidRoof.com. Never settle for less.
Creighton Blue Jay Baseball is on the air. You can get your 2026 Creighton Blue Jay baseball team all spring long on Yacht Rock 1180. Once again, that's Creighton Blue Jay Baseball on Yacht Rock 1180.
My name's Stephen Butler, and I own Controlled Comfort. And we've been in business for 6 decades. And in those 6 decades, I like to think that everything we do is about the art of comfort. It's about the skill of our people, but it's also about the integrity, because at the end of the day, I value my employees, so they value you. And that's really all this is about. If you get cold this winter, think about us. We'll come help you out. We'll get you out of bind. It'll be fair, it'll be fast, and it'll be the right price.
Control Comfort keeps it under control.
Have you been injured in an accident? You shouldn't have to fight with insurance companies or deal with medical bills alone. You need an experienced injury lawyer who'll protect your rights while you focus on healing. At Chandler Conway, our team understands the legal process and will handle your case with dedication. Our goal is simple: to secure the compensation you deserve. Call us today or visit chandlerconway.com for a free consultation. Don't face this challenge alone. Let us support you every step of the way.
You are listening to After Hours with Jimmy Allen on 1620 The Zone.
Welcome back inside the After Hours Lounge on a Tuesday night. You know what that open means? It's time for the open bar, where we open up the show to you. You can get questions in at After Hours 1620, either on Facebook or Twitter, or punch in for the night shift on YouTube and leave a comment tonight and ask a question to chime in on anything we're talking about tonight. And we'll go to Greg on Facebook, who has been the MVP of this segment for the past couple of months. Dan, I'm interested to get your thoughts on this. I've been kind of vocal about this topic in my 6 years on the station, but I don't think I've ever heard you weigh in on this. I'll give my answers because I know you're going to need a couple minutes to think about this because you haven't seen these questions. What are the most overrated movies of all time? And I'm not going to get too much into it because they were talking about this on the midday show today. I think Avatar is overrated for several reasons. It's basically just Pocahontas with aliens. It's just not a very good movie, in my opinion. But also, and I think it matters when you see movies in life. I got to see, oh my God, I'm blanking on the name of the movie now. The movie with Matthew McConaughey, where he's Livin, Dazed and Confused.
Yeah.
Sorry. I saw that in my late 30s, and the movie ended, and I went, that's it? This movie's about nothing? All right, great.
So that is 100% on you for seeing it in your late 30s.
Yeah, no, I understand that.
Because when you're a teen, you're like, all right, this is the coolest thing ever.
I didn't see the Goonies until 2 years ago. I was perfectly fine with my life without seeing it. I also think that movie's overrated. What else did I get to lay? Pulp Fiction's fine, I guess. Do you have any movies on your overrated list?
It's probably gonna hurt a lot of people when I say this. At least partially. One of the movies that I find extremely overrated is Jaws.
Good take.
It's just big shark causes big problem with small boat.
When you see it matters, right? I mean, this obviously came out in the 80s, and for its time, it was revolutionary.
Yeah.
Now you've had the ability to see Jurassic Park and all these other higher end movies that are more scary. Yeah.
And so another movie, I mean, overrated movies. Ooh, okay. So one that got a lot of positive press right when it came out.
Okay.
That one with Sydney Sweeney and Glenn Powell that everyone was obsessed with for a hot second. It's like, it's not, she's just not into you or whatever. I can't remember. It's all like Sydney Sweeney is hot and Glenn Powell is handsome. They're going to pretend to be a couple. And it was like, leave it so hard.
Anyone but you.
Yes.
Never even heard of it.
It's super overrated, and it's probably more properly rated now that people are like, it's sort of come down on itself, which I'm so happy about. Another one that I find overrated in general, it's kind of old school for me. Old school I find a bit overrated. It's super funny.
You think Old School is over? Okay, this is my pushback. Old School is great.
I think Old School is overrated, and all of the canon of Vince Vaughn, Owen Wilson, Will Ferrell movies, I think it's nearer the bottom than it is the top. Of
we
all
can do
those
power rankings of those movies. I'd be fine with that.
I mean, honestly, like Dodgeball, I think is way better than Old School.
Will Ferrell's not in that movie.
Vince Vaughn is.
Yeah.
I included him in the list of the three.
Sure. You're grouping those all.
Yeah.
I got you.
I think Wedding Crashers is a much better
great take
vehicle for Vince Vaughn, Owen Wilson buddy comedy.
Okay. I think I disagree, but I love Wedding Crashers, so I'm not going to push too hard.
Yeah. I mean, as far as like overrated movies go, it's hard because I'm
lockstep with you on Jaws, though, man. I think Jaws is overrated.
I don't watch like a ton of like,
but I think that's an our generation thing.
Movies that I find like generally overrated, like a lot of the old horror movies, I don't think like stand up all that well. As far as being like,
I've never been a horror film guy though.
As far as being like horror films, because I remember like my dad when I was like 15 or maybe like 13, 14, maybe years old.
Sure.
He was like, "Oh, we got to rent Friday the 13th because it's super scary. And I was like, it's just a bunch of teens getting murdered at camp.
Well, banging.
And it's like, but it is like, for the time, it was very scary. But like when you see one of the girls get her head cut off and it flashes to a different angle and you can 100% tell that it's a mannequin head, and you're like, oh,
CGI has come a long, long way.
It's not that good. Now, I will admit,
you got an underrated movie. Not a question for the open bar, but I'm just curious if you have an underrated movie.
An underrated movie that I will 100% always ride for, because it is one of my favorite movies of all time, is the original Fletch with Chevy Chase. And I would even go as far as saying
good movie.
The Fletch with John Hamm more recently. That one I don't think got enough or as much love as it deserved. That Fletch with John Hamm, if you wanted to pass the torch off to someone who can do that movie really well, I wanted him. After I saw that first Fletch with John Hamm, I was like, give me 1,000 more of these right now, please. Gimme.
My underrated movie. You ever seen the movie Chef with Jon Favreau?
Yes.
Fantastic.
So good. And extremely real.
We got a question in the inbox from Quentin. He said, if you had to oil up a former wrestler or former Husker, who would it be? You got to pick.
Like if I had to actually like physically oil them up? Former Husker, most recently. I would do Nash.
He comes in and says, but the only options are Nash Hutmacher or Richie Incognito.
Then give me Nash 100%.
Yeah, I like my life.
For my former Husker.
Nash seems nice enough that he wouldn't kill me for no reason.
And if I had to do a former wrestler, and I could do anyone, dead or alive, Andre the Giant.
Okay.
It'd be so fun.
I'll go with Trish
Like,
Stratus.
why are you touching me?
I'll go with Trish Stratus for obvious reasons. Scott on Facebook, back to the more normal questions, wants to know who's the worst fan base in your opinion? He didn't mention state or sport or like level of sport, so I'm going to give two football answers. For me, the worst fan base, fan wise, in college football is Wisconsin, and it's not even close. I just don't think there's anything enjoyable about Madison, Wisconsin. I hate jump around, and this isn't going to be a popular opinion around here. I've never had an overwhelmingly positive experience at Arrowhead Stadium. I'm not a big fan of Chiefs fans. I think you were annoying before Patrick Mahomes got here. You're even more annoying now. Don't love that stadium. Don't love the fan base, if I'm being honest.
So I was going to say Iowa, but I have never been. So I have a thing where I've gone to a lot of other college football stadiums to not watch Nebraska play football on a Saturday. And I have never been accosted more on a college campus when my team is not playing their team than the University of Michigan when I was wearing my Nebraska red during Michigan State rivalry weekend.
Yeah, but then you deserve it then. Like, if you're just wearing Nebraska red at a game where they're not playing it, like, I'm never for harassing people. Always harass people that are wearing colors of teams that aren't at games that they're taking part in. I think I've told the story on air before.
My best friend, who I went with, actually a whole group of like my very good friends from college who we went with, were like, we don't really care, because I made it very clear before we went to this football game. I was like, I am not wearing Michigan blue. I am not wearing maize. And I sure as heck am not wearing green and white. No, thank you. No. None for me. Thank you.
So the two games that I've been to that have not, two college football games I've been to that have not been Nebraska centric, that I wasn't working at. I went to Florida State when I was down living in Florida, and I happened to go to a Tennessee and South Carolina game, and I just wore neutral colors to both of those games. So I was like,
it's a good idea.
Okay, well, my betting slip says I'm rooting for this team tonight.
And then also, real quick,
yeah,
NFL wise, it is easily, hands down,
I guess,
bar none,
Minnesota Vikings or the Chicago Bears.
Chicago Bears fans. Yeah. Because at least Minnesota Vikings fans are cordial and are nice. And Detroit Lions fans, while extremely mean, are mean in a way that they're like
they're just from Detroit,
or like the Lions are better, and we are going to just pelt you with facts about how the Lions are better. Whereas Chicago Bears fans, when you wear Packers stuff in their city, are like, we will take you outside right now and we will fight you and we will make sure that you are laying in the street with blood running into the gutter. We do not like you. Even on St. Patrick's Day, when you can wear green.
This is a question I wanted to get to that I love this debate because Dave on Twitter wrote this in, and I know the question he's asking. It's not what he said, and he's leaving me a little bit of a wiggle room here. He said, let's settle it. Who's the best basketball player of all time? And I think he clearly wants to debate Jordan and LeBron, right? Dave, let me know if I'm wrong.
Of course.
But I think I have the correct answer to this question. Because I think the best basketball player, and this is if everything we know to this day is true, is Wilt Chamberlain. I think the best champion of all time is Bill Russell. I think the greatest winner we've ever seen is Michael Jordan. I think the most driven human being and not just basketball player we've ever seen is Kobe Bryant.
Why can't I make a movie? His literal response to being told that his short film probably wouldn't win an Oscar. He said, why not? I'm Kobe Bryant. I can do anything.
And he did. The greatest specimen we've ever seen, the biggest physical anomaly, maybe before Wemby, the guy that just seemed to have all of the answers is LeBron. So I think who is the greatest player of all time is relevant to what you're discussing. Because the conversation between Michael and LeBron always comes up. What's the go-to answer? Who's got more rings?
Yeah.
Well, that's what we're basing the conversation on. It's Bill Russell, and it's not even close, right? If you're talking about scoring or ability to control a basketball game, it's Wilt Chamberlain. It's not even close. But I think where Michael and LeBron get those two, kind of get the all-encompassing because they both were scorers and they both could play defense. And they're both, unique and special skill sets. But I think Kobe absolutely deserves to be in that conversation. But if we're talking about you need to win a game, if you're talking about a pickup game, roll the ball out. These two guys are playing each other. Who wins between LeBron and Michael? I think LeBron wins. Now, if you roll a basketball out, give them 4 other guys, and say 7-game series, you need one of these guys to will you to a championship. Who you taking? There ain't a person on the planet that's not taking Michael Jordan. Yeah. So it's just kind of like what's the criteria? Is it a 1-game scenario? Is it a best of first to 21 one-on-one situation? Are you talking about leading and dragging a team over the finish line and winning a title? And if it's the latter part of the discussion, if we're talking about a basketball player to get you through an entire 72-game season, win an NBA championship, I'm taking Michael Jordan.
Okay. So, all right. If I'm going full 82-game season and they've got to drag me through the playoffs and into the finals, I guess I would take Michael Jordan.
Ooh, okay.
I mean, Michael Jordan is my 1. And Kobe is always going to be my 1A, 1B. Because
Not LeBron.
No.
Okay.
Because I thought in his lifetime,
I don't hate that take, by the way.
If Kobe Bryant had a couple more years with Shaq and maybe a couple more years with some like extremely serious role players around him who took the game as seriously as he did.
That would be nobody, but go ahead.
Yeah, I know. I think we would be talking about Kobe and Michael Jordan on the same plane of existence, which
pretty close.
I honestly think that if you were to, I mean, there's a whole like list online that's like, if you're arguing this, if you're arguing this, if you're arguing this.
I got removed from the stream somehow. Sorry, add me back in.
I'll put you back in. You get back up there.
There.
There's Jimmy. Welcome back.
Didn't feel like updating the taps list tonight, huh?
No, I did not.
Okay.
Honestly, that is the updated one. It saved over the old one and it kept the old one in there. So there's a list online that's, if you truly care about rings, it's Bill Russell.
Yeah.
If
absolutely.
you care about pure winning percentage and what they're able to do on the court, it's Michael. If you care about points and scoring just purely on buckets, it now, unfortunately, is LeBron James.
Okay.
It should be Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. If you care about longevity, it's Kareem. If you care about just handles, it's arguably Pete Maravich. If you're a white guy, it's Larry Bird. Actually, the real thing is, if you're from Boston and or you're racist, it's Larry Bird. But I don't think there's the real argument for me is, if you were to put all of these guys into a modern NBA with a general modern NBA skill set, I don't think there's anyone who could possibly be better than Bill Russell was in the paint.
Well, so that brings up the conversation that I always have, because every time somebody's like, well, if Michael and LeBron were playing one-on-one and this and that, what do you do with Shaq? I think Shaquille O'Neal was the biggest enigma for NBA franchises to try to figure out for his entire career.
Yeah.
And I don't think they ever came up with one. You had mentioned it, like, what happens if you give Kobe and Shaq a couple more years together? If you take the years in Miami and you keep Shaq in LA for all of those seasons and everything else in the NBA stays at status quo, I think they win every one of those. I think that franchise would have done enough to put more teams around them, because that means they'd have figured it out behind the scenes, right? Because the reason a lot of people feel the reason they lost that Pistons team was because the inner turmoil with Kobe and Shaq, and there was some stuff off kilter there. In that sit down interview Kobe and Shaq did, they talked about that stuff too, right? But like, if you're going to talk about a one-on-one situation, I think if you'd have taken every basketball player in history in a one-on-one situation, had a tournament, Shaquille O'Neal wins that tournament 100 out of 100 times. Because I don't think there's anybody that has an answer for him.
Well, I mean, just hypothetically, if you put every big man that we've ever seen in the NBA, just up onto a graph and onto a chart, it is literally basically a slow moving line up to Wemby at like 7'4".
Yep.
And it stays right there at 7'4". And then way out here is Shaq at like 7'2" and an extra about 100 pounds on Wemby. When you think about what Shaq is able to do in the paint
from an athleticism standpoint,
I was not young enough to get to experience prime youthful Shaq.
Yeah.
But prime youthful Shaq, and even Laker era Shaq, where
he's still pretty prime,
where he could shimmy in the post and just drop 1 foot, pivot, and just dunk over anyone.
Nobody had an answer, man.
That's why
those Laker teams.
The joke was always a thing that we had growing all the time I grew up was, it's a hack-a-Shaq foul. It's a hack-a-Shaq. It has a name when you just hack a guy in the post for no reason.
Because you couldn't stop him.
Because you're like, this guy is either going to dunk the basketball on me or I'm going to have to murder him.
Well, and it wasn't even that. Like, you just had to account for everything he did. And that's why those Lakers teams around him were so good. Obviously, helped having number 8. He was pretty good. But like with the Rick Foxes and the Robert Oryes of the world around him to give you those shooters that, by the way, the most unstoppable force in the league is in the paint. And we have probably the most skilled combo guard on the planet. Oh, and by the way, we got 2 elite sharpshooters around him. And we're deep. Plus Phil's coaching us. God, I hated those Lakers teams. But man, they were so good.
Question for you.
Yeah.
Before we move off this basketball topic, because I love this.
Just dudes naming dudes.
Greatest single basketball team of all time.
Oh,
you can't include the Olympic stuff.
No, of course not, because that's just cheating and unfair.
Because that's obvious.
The top 10 answers are those teams.
92
right?
Dream Team. 92 Dream Team. 92 Dream Team.
Yeah. Man. I'll give you 2 answers because I think was the Steve Nash and Amari Stoudemire's sons 06, right? That was 06.
Yes.
The best team to never win a championship is that team. The best team of all time.
I don't know if I give them best team all time to not win a championship.
Who would you give it to?
The Glove and Sean Kemp.
Listen, I grew up a Sonics fan. So
Those Sonics teams, wow,
man. But I think with Mike D'Antonio calling those offenses and that the fact, I mean, if the fight doesn't happen with the Spurs, they probably end up winning the title. So,
so the argument that I always hear is the 1986 Celtics team,
of course, or the 96 Bulls, right?
Yeah,
that's what I'm hemming and hawing about right now. But how do you got to throw Shaq and Kobe's Lakers in there, right?
You got to throw Shaq and Kobe's Lakers in there. I think you got to throw that.
See, man,
first or second Lakers championship that they had with Magic and Kareem.
Oh yeah, the Showtime Lakers, absolutely.
Yeah, because Kareem was getting old, but
did you know he played 20 seasons? Yeah. Like we talk about LeBron played 23 now. Like the fact that Kareem played 20
at much older too. We have to keep that in mind too. That Kareem went through all 4 years of playing JV and varsity basketball at UCLA, because that's what they used to have to call the freshman team. And he went to the NBA and played another 20 years. LeBron said, I'm 18 years old. Let me cash this check to prove that the Hummer is actually legal.
I'm going to go 0-1 Lakers as the greatest team. I'm going to go the 95 Bulls, 85 Celtics.
I like it.
And listen, at Jimmy Allen 07 on Twitter, you could put any one of those three teams in any order, and I would agree with you. I think Shaq's the equalizer, man. I think Michael and Scotty are the best two combination, but I think Shaq's the great equalizer with the best player on the planet at that time in Kobe, and then obviously all the championships and all the Hall of Famers that were on the Celtics team. I get there. Dave, thanks for the question. Thanks to everybody that checked in tonight on the night shift. If you missed this segment, check it out on our radio replay page on 1620thezone.com. It was brought to you by Jarrett Ryan Clothing and Sportswear, the premier suit buying experience in the Midwest. They don't just have golf polos. They don't just have great dress pants and ties at Jarrett Ryan. You're going to get the full package for your big day. That's right. If it's wedding season and you're getting married this spring, you don't want to go to the guy that you got recommended by your brother-in-law. It's been divorced twice. No, you want the best suit buying experience in the Midwest at 78th and Dodge. It's Jerry Ryan Clothing and Sportswear. They've been dressing Omaha for over 50 years. Is Diego Pavia Shedeur Sanders 2.0? We debate the other side of the break. 1620 zone. Hey, everybody, it's Jimmy Allen here for Aloe Fiber. Listen, if you're wondering about the sports schedule during the summer and you want to know how you're going to be able to catch your favorite sporting events on TV, but you're worried about your slow internet speed, keeping up with the streaming services, we've got the answer for you. It's Aloe Fiber. I made the switch 2 years ago. I haven't seen a buffering circle on my TV since. If you want service you can count on, an all fiber network, not a fake fiber network, a whole gig of internet straight to your house on a fiber network, head over to aloefiber.com. Get out of the Stone Age tonight.
When you're hiring, have you ever felt like you're missing out on meeting truly great candidates for your roles? It seems impossible to find them, but they have to be out there somewhere, right? Well, they're not hard to find when you know where to go, and that place is ZipRecruiter. And right now, you can try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/radio. ZipRecruiter helps 10 million people with their job search every day. And because these people are actively looking for jobs just like yours, it's easy to find the right person right away. In fact, 4 out of 5 employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. But if you're not using ZipRecruiter, you're missing out. So see what it's like when the impossible is easy. When you go to ZipRecruiter.com/radio right now to try ZipRecruiter for free. Once again, that's ZipRecruiter.com/radio. ZipRecruiter.com/radio. Never miss out on great candidates with ZipRecruiter.
Host is roasting every morning. Host is roasting every day.
At Host Coffee, every cup of coffee served comes with a promise of quality, innovation, and a dash of fun, ensuring your workday is as delightful as your coffee break. Call Host Coffee today.
Proudly serving Nebraska since 1972. Host Coffee is always roasting something good for you.
Creighton Blue Jay Baseball is on the air. You can get your 2026 Creighton Blue Jay baseball team all spring long on Yacht Rock 1180. Once again, that's Creighton Blue Jay Baseball on Yacht Rock 1180.
It's easy to see the common signs of transmission trouble.
If your engine revs before it falls into gear. If it seems to switch gears for no reason.
If shifts are rough, lurching, or clunking.
So watch for the signs.
Because catching it early could mean repair instead of replacement.
And if you do need transmission work, be sure to call.
Certified Transmission, the job done right at the right price.
Find a location near you at certifiedtransmission.com.
Attention Omaha parents, if you're looking for a fun, safe, faith-based, and affordable summer camp experience for your kids, look no further than Camp Croc. Located at Croc Center, Omaha, just off the Kennedy Freeway and Q Street, Camp Croc runs weekdays from June 1st through August 7th. Kids ages 6 through 12 will enjoy all kinds of activities, from sports to STEM projects, helping them grow intellectually, physically, and spiritually. Plus, breakfast, lunch, and snacks are included. Register for just a week or for the whole summer. For more details, go to omahacroc.org. That's omahakroc.org.
At Early Bird Brunch, value means giving you a brunch experience that's anything but ordinary. Step into our modern diner and taste chef-inspired dishes that turn classics on their heads, like the completely unique hash hole, the AM pot pie, and of course, pancakes and omelets, but with an early bird twist. Brunch isn't just for Sundays. Early riser or late sleeper. Come in any day and discover what brunch can be. Early Bird Brunch. Not your everyday brunch. Every day. earlybirdbrunch.com.
Car buying doesn't have to be stressful, especially at Woodhouse. No gimmicks, no surprises. And we share our document fee up front. Start your search today at woodhouse.com. Clear price, clear choice. Hassle-free all the way to your driveway. That's Woodhouse.
You're listening to After Hours with Jimmy Allen on 1620 The Zone.
Putting the bow on a cloudy Tuesday night show here on 1620 The Zone. Not too late to get into Taste Test Tuesday. Head over to our After Hours page on Facebook or Twitter. Retweet or repost the Taste Test Tuesday post from Railcar tonight. We're going to enter you into a drawing to win a $25 gift card to Railcar American Scratch Kitchen this evening. A great debate that I wanted to have because I saw a lot of similarities, and I brought this up during the regular season, Dan. I wanted to talk about it to close the show down tonight. There's a lot of discussion last year about why Shedeur Sanders fell where he fell in the draft. There's a lot of people that said, oh, are they trying to stick it to his dad? Is it something to do with his personality? And I think there's a little bit to some of all of that, but I think ultimately how you treat people or how you represent yourself, surprise, surprise, matters in a job interview.
Really?
And I think Diego Pavia's on-the-field performances spoke for themselves. I mean, the guy clearly was a Heisman Trophy finalist. Which I think he clearly deserved to be there. But he just always there is a benefit to having a chip on your shoulder. But he seemed like he enjoyed the narrative around it more than he had pushback against it. Like there seemed to be this thing about Diego Pavia that enjoyed or embellished in the I'm a short guy with the deck stacked against me and I've got something to prove. He talked about the comments he made towards GMs about not wanting to be a backup. And you have to have a certain level of confidence. You've got to have a certain level of belief in yourself. You also have to have a leadership quality to be a starting quarterback. And I'm not saying that Shedeur Sanders and Diego Pavia don't have those things. But it's not your birthright to play in the NFL.
No.
You're not guaranteed to do that. This is you may listen. I think Shedeur Sanders has the possibility of being an NFL starting quarterback. I think Diego Pavia has the skill set and the ability to be an NFL starting quarterback. You're not going to get that opportunity if people don't want to pay you to do that. Because here's the thing. This isn't college. There's a bunch of dudes sitting on waivers that are good enough to be in the spot you're in. And if you don't have the ability to lead men, to stand in a huddle, and I know they don't do that very much anymore, but to command a locker room and deserve not be handed a C to put on your chest, the NFL has no time for anybody because they're going to just replace you next year, if not sooner. And I really think that in the day and age of load management in the NBA, in the day and age of players with attitudes like the two guys we're mentioning here, and I was really impressed with how humbled Shedeur seemed to be at the end of the season. And I think that tells you the process worked for him. Now, the people that were clamoring for him to start were not necessarily eating the same humble pie. But I really think that there is the one thing that the NFL has done better than any of the other major sports leagues, to some degree, television promotions, they've always put the shield before anybody. And I think for a lot of kids that are coming up in the NIL era or lifestyles where they've been the best thing since sliced bread, making something bigger than yourself is going to be a foreign concept to those players. Now, spoiler alert, 22-year-olds don't have a whole lot of life experiences, and that helps as well, right?
Yeah.
I'm not saying these guys can't be, but I think Diego Pavia is the perfect case study to come the year after Shedeur Sanders, because I think those two guys have a ton in common. I think they're both incredibly confident. They both believe in their skill set. They both got a thing or two to learn about being able to command yourself as a professional. I'm here to tell you, they're not the only two guys in the NFL or coming to the NFL that have had that problem. I just think it's really far and few in between. We see that at the quarterback position because of what their responsibilities are. And I also think that a lot of times in certain situations, you're asked to be that leader more than the rah-rah guy. And I think in those two guys specifically because the schools that they ended up going to, I think at Vanderbilt, you kind of have to be that guy.
Mm-hmm.
You got to remember the state of Colorado and what it was before Coach Prime got there, and obviously Shedeur as well. But the reason you don't see that from a USC or a Notre Dame or what have you don't have to be the guy selling tickets at those schools. And more often than not, your big end quarterbacks end up going to those type of programs.
Mm-hmm.
So I think it's a perfect combination. Like Shedeur and Diego Pavia have both gotten a lot of flack for their personalities or lack of professionalism or what have you. But I think it's really important that we forget a lot of times these guys are 22 and there's a lot of room for growth. Happy for Diego Pavia. He's going to get a shot. I think it's good for him to be a backup and have a little bit more of that humble pie before he ends up getting traded off somewhere else because he ain't starting over Lamar Jackson. But I'll be really interested in the growth of Shedeur Sanders if it does or doesn't work out in Cleveland and what his response publicly is to that if it happens.
Yeah.
Same with Diego Pavia.
And so the only argument that I really wanted to make about Diego Pavia tonight, and comparing him to Shedeur Sanders, I think is a bit apt.
Okay.
In the fact that they're both bold, they're both very brash individuals.
Yes.
Definitely said some stuff that I'm sure if you got Shedeur in a locked, windowless, no recording device room, that he would say, yeah, probably took it a little bit too far. The difference, however, though, is that Shedeur Sanders, the role model that he had growing up, was one of the loudest, was one of the brashest, was one of the more braggadocious players that we have seen in the NFL.
Sure.
In our lifetimes.
Which I think is a benefit at corner, a detriment at quarterback.
Correct. And I think the difference with Diego Pavia is he did the wrong thing and he backed up his ignorance and arrogance with legitimately ignorant and arrogant actions.
Absolutely.
Because you can be kind of bold and brash, like you said, because you are the one. You are the ticket at Vanderbilt. You are the reason that people are coming to watch these games in general. The problem is then you can't go into an NFL draft, say some of the things that you said, and then not have an agent. Because an agent is the person who can get behind you and can say, He's a little bit bold. He's a little bit brash. But trust me, when you get him into your team, he is going to be a great quarterback. He is going to be a person who is able to make the special plays and is able to do the things that you saw him do at Vanderbilt for your NFL football team. He didn't have anyone in his corner besides himself to actually make the case for him. And I think that was where his detriment came. And simply my buy or sell for the night, or not my buy or sell, my closing argument for the night. I'm forgetting all my segments now. The WNBA draft happens much too quickly after the college basketball season.
That was quick.
And we need to change that because the draft was less than a month ago and they've already played 3 games in the WNBA as we stand right now on average per team. That is much too fast. I think we need to give a majority of these gals a little bit more time to get situated within their teams, to understand some of the personalities and the people that they've brought in. And honestly, just to be able to let some of these teams actually get up and running a little bit and get their sea legs before we start throwing them out there to the wolves and saying, hey, you just got done playing a college basketball season. You got to go out there and play against the best in the entire world now. Have fun.
Well, hope you had fun listening to the After Hours Lounge tonight. If you missed any of it, check it out on our radio replay page on 1620thezone.com. Tonight, it was brought to you by our friend Bob Williams at Williams Law. If you or somebody you love has been accused of something that you didn't do, you need to get legal representation tonight. Head over to WilliamsLawLLC.com tonight. Bob and his team are going to give you a free, no obligation legal consultation. They'll sit you down, explain your rights, and get you ready for your big day in court. Head over to WilliamsLawLLC.com tonight. It's been a great show. Hopefully you enjoyed it. Made us a part of your evening. For Dan Campbell, I've been Jimmy Allen. Happy National Blueberry Pie Day, everybody.
The real game changer in college athletics, it's coaches. And at Bellevue University, there is an experienced team of coaches who know you both as an athlete and as a person. Plus, there are student coach advisors who are there to provide individualized academic support every step of the way as you progress towards your degree. At Bellevue University, you're not just another athlete. You belong. We're for you and for college sports. Visit BUBruins.com.
Spring is here, and you know what that means? Rain, roots, and backed up drains. Over the winter, tree roots grow deep into your pipes, and spring rains can push your main line over the edge. Before you're dealing with a messy backup, call AX Plumbing. Their team specializes in mainline cleaning, root removal, and keeping your plumbing flowing smoothly all season long. Fast, reliable, done right the first time. Don't wait for disaster. Schedule your spring drain cleaning today at axpsservice.com. AX Plumbing, clearing the way for a stress-free spring.
Is your car making weird noises? Don't wait until a small issue turns into a big repair bill. Take it to Mad Hatter Auto Repair, where they take the madness out of auto repair. From oil changes and brakes to full diagnostics, their expert team gets you back on the road fast and without breaking the bank. Honest, reliable, local. That's the Mad Hatter difference. Follow the Little White Rabbit to 140th and West Center Road in Omaha or 34th and West Broadway in Council Bluffs. Mad Hatter Auto Repair, where your car gets treated right.
When you shop local, you help strengthen our community. So if you need roof repair, gutters, siding, even windows, call local Pyramid Contractors. They're the #1 roofer in Omaha for more than a dozen years. Let Pyramid Contractors come and give you a free estimate. Give them a call at 402-502-9300. That's 402-502-9300. Or visit them online at
PyramidRoof.com. Never settle for less.
KOZ and Bellevue, Omaha, Council Bluffs. This is 1620 The Zone.